Welcome to another episode of Active Training with Ryan. In these instructional videos, I am going to show you how to enhance your instruction using ActivInspire. This video is about how to use the pen tool and the highlighter tool. The pen tool and the highlighter tool can be found on your toolbar underneath the Select tool and underneath the More tools. Now, these tools you're going to be using when you want to write on your board. Just simply click on the pen tool, come over to your board, take your pen, and just write on your board. Now, anything that you draw on the board then is going to be called an annotation. So we're going to use that word quite a bit in these instructional videos. So an annotation is when any time you take the pen in your handwriting on your board, what you write in your board will also show up on your computer screen. Now, to erase what you have just written, you come underneath the pen tool and you click on the eraser. And this will erase any of your handwriting or annotations that you have on the screen, but it doesn't erase any of the objects or the background pictures then. Again, you just click on your Select tool and you just simply write on your screen. What I like to do is, instead of using a solid background as a screen to write on, I like to theme up my boards then, where I'll put pictures into the background, and I'll use this today as a theme to write on. So just imagine in your own classrooms then, being able to put pictures on your background, and using that as a themed lesson and writing all of your notes on here, or any of your information that you're sharing with your students then. Again, any template that I have with the students then, I can print them out and I can give them to the students to use. So they come up to the board, and as a class discussion, we would write our answers up here in each of these boxes. Again, using the pen tool, the students can write what they know. So to choose the pen tool, or to select the pen tool, again, you just simply click on the pen that's on your toolbar. Your default color is going to be set to black anytime that you draw on your board. To change the colors, you just simply come up and you just click on the different colors here in your color palette, and you just continue to write on your board. Again, to change your color, you just click on a different color and you just write on your board. To erase it, again, you can click on your eraser and it only erases the annotations and the handwriting that you've done. Now, if you want to change the size of the pen tool, let's say that you're writing and the ink on here, you want it either smaller or larger. Underneath the colors, you're going to see 4 dots. You just click on one of the dots, and it's going to change the width of the pen tool. Now, if you want your width even larger than what these 4 dots are, underneath the 4 dots, you're going to have a little bar that slides side to side. This is called the pen width bar. It's going to, again, increase the size of your pen. Now, let's say your presentation has lots of annotations and writing all over it. Now, using the eraser tool would take me a while to erase everything that's on the board. If you come down to your toolbar and you click on the spray bottle here, you have the option of clicking on Clear Annotations, which will only remove the ink from your board and keep all the objects just the same. Now, the highlighter tool is right next to the pen tool, and it does exactly what it says it does. It highlights objects that are on the board. Just like the pen tool, you can click on a different color, and you can highlight objects on the board. You can change the width of the highlighter so you can make it larger. You can use the eraser tool to erase the annotation that you just drew. Or you can click on the spray bottle and click Clear Annotations. Now when you're using presentations or you're using the annotation tools in your presentation, sometimes you might make a mistake. Let's say I want to go to move an object here, but I forgot to click on the select tool. I left it in pen tool and I accidentally draw on my board. Students will do this quite often, or they'll come up and they'll move objects around on your board, or they'll change where things are on your board, or they'll accidentally delete them. So when that happens, when you need to change or fix something that was occurred on your board, on your toolbar, at the very bottom, you have two icons that are curved. The first one on the left is called undo, the one on the right is called redo. You just simply click on undo, and it's going to undo the change that you made. Again, if a student deletes an object off the board, changes your presentation, completely destroys it, you just come down here, click undo, just keep clicking undo until it puts the presentation back the way it was. Now students will typically come up and click undo very quickly. Every time you tap the undo button, it's going to change the undo, or it's going to fix the presentation. So in my classroom, I tell the students, because my computers are not very fast, they click undo, they count to 3. Because every time they click it, it's going to keep undoing everything you've done to the board, movements and drawing, since the presentation was open. If by chance you do click undo too many times, just simply click redo and put it back to the way it was then. So again, both of these buttons are going to be buttons that you'll use quite a bit. What I'd like you to do is draw your own picture. So on the page that you have on your computer, click on the pen tool, change your colors, change the size of your width, and try draw something on your computer. Now that you've drawn something on your computer, practice erasing it using the eraser tool. Now when using the eraser tool also, you do have the ability to change the size of the eraser. Come over here to your toolbar, simply just slide the bar over, and you have a larger eraser that you can erase with. Now when I'm writing on the board, or if I'm in front of an audience doing a presentation, I don't want a pen that's super large, and I don't want ink that is too big or too small. So what I use is a defaulting pen size, which is this size right here, .2. So whenever I do handwriting on the board, or I do note-taking that I want someone to see, I click on .2, and that's the pen width that you're seeing currently on the screen. I want you to go ahead and clear your board, either using the eraser, or click on your spray bottle that says clear annotation, and I want you to redraw this picture for me. Now that you've redrawn this picture, click on your select tool to start moving the object side to side. Now you'll notice on mine that when I click and hold and move the object side to side, all the objects are moving together as one. On your presentation or your computer, you may have some objects moving together as one, and you may have some objects that are moving separately. The board has another rule to it, which is when you click on the pen tool and you draw an annotation on the screen, and then you draw another one within 30 seconds, it automatically groups them together. So see here I drew the V and then I drew a minus sign. Because I drew these within 3 seconds, it's going to group them together. Now I'm going to click on my pen tool and I'm going to draw another object here. Now I drew each one of these outside of 3 seconds. I drew this line, I waited 4 seconds, and then I drew this line. 4 seconds later, I drew this line. And you see how this time they're not grouped. So when using the annotation tools, which is the pen tool, the highlighter, if you draw something on the pen with the pen tool, you draw something else with it within 3 seconds, when you click on your select tool and you go to move the objects then, it's going to automatically group them together. So just know that if you don't want objects grouped together, when you draw one object, wait 3 seconds and then draw the second one. If you do want objects to group together, you just draw them as quickly as you want to. Now let's say you don't want objects grouped together. So I'm going to go back to my picture here. I just drew these pictures up here and I do not want them to be grouped together. To ungroup an object, you simply click using your select tool, click on your objects, and you'll notice you have these row of buttons up here. Click on the one that's yellow, and now your objects are going to be ungrouped. And I'll show you a little bit later how to regroup objects. So I want you to go ahead and try that for me. I want you to go ahead and move objects around. If you see that there are objects moving together again, click on the object one time. You'll see a button that is yellow. You click on it. Now when you go to move the objects will be removed. So this one right here, my flowers and my grass are moving together, so I'm going to click on it one time. Click on the yellow, and now my objects are moving by themselves. I want you to try practicing that for me.